See, I was watching this upload, and the brother was talking about the DNA strands and the different cultures and their particular amount of DNA strands that are accessed. Now, ultimately, if I'm talking to my dog, like, it's only but so much understanding that my dog is gonna get. Like, for the most part, the dog will fill me out and it can feel my intention, right? But can't really hear the words that I'm saying, can't comprehend me in fully. And you know what? Depending on the level of DNA strands, that breaks up in a whole bunch of clear understandings, even when it comes to people. So you got some people that at their height of anger, they're in their beast mentality, right? You're in your animal mentality because you're at your height of your lowest chakra. Ultimately, being in that energy, that strengthens the level of what DNA placement that you actually have, or how many strands of DNA that you actually have unlocked. Because at your height of that energy, it's expressed through the capabilities of how you deal with, mental stabilities and stuff of that nature. So then it's easy to say that for the most part, depending on how you access or subsequently deal with circumstances in the most logical, intelligent way that's suitable for not just yourself, everybody else, it speaks to the level of how high or how much your DNA is exposed, or how much you're able to access more of your DNA. How can I even say that, right? Well, because you can see it through lesser DNA, the explanation of how they work. So ultimately, as DNA is unlocked and more strands are available, you see the different levels of activity that plays out through the normality. Like when you have to eat food, how would you obtain that, or what you would do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, these things are because of different levels of DNA that you have exposed to your being. So it gets deep after that point. So then you start assessing circumstances that come with negative attributes or qualities of self-serving values, and you can assess that to some form of animalistic mentality. Unbeknownst to the individual being immersed in that characteristic trait, it just exposes the level of that DNA within that individual at that moment, right? Or particularly the time and indefinite. See, this conversation might basically go over a lot of individuals' heads because no one wants to hear the science behind it. Everybody just wants to keep pointing the fingers and says XYZ happens because of XYZ. Well, ultimately, that's never the play. It's always the chemical mix-up of how things are actually working within you. Now, unbeknownst to some people, the chemical makeup in different people is just like having different levels of other chemicals. Some people can mix with different people and bring shit up out of them because the level of mix that they have up in them. Some people, you can be around them with they bullshit and it's fleeting, right? It's like, so why can't you apply that same energy to another circumstance? It's know-how. So what's known? I don't know what's in that mix. So opposed to what's in that mix to this mix can be volatile, right? So now we're talking high levels of science. This is awareness. This is awareness. This is being self-aware. So therefore, no matter what you mix with, you're aware of how volatile your solution is and how that plays a part through how you maneuver in certain circumstances. It gets very interesting because for the most part, this shows that there is not the ultimate aspect to teach. This shows that you have more self-control. Are you aware that you have more control over each situation? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, most people are not aware that they have a lot of control over shit, and trying to add more control to a circumstance. Like, you have control over yourself for the most part to a circumstance, but trying to add control to what you already control, it kind of like bends your universe out of circumference. Like you can't just connect universes to you. You have to grow your universe. Now, ultimately, it seems like a great idea. How about I just connect a whole bunch of universes to me and I'll become another big one? No, I wouldn't be one universal seed if that was the point. I'm supposed to grow into my own universe. So ultimately, it's not about the connection. It's about the connection, but not the connecting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what happens. You know, it's how well you connect. You know what I'm saying? That where the energy that you use to connect with can be absorbed and multiplied and spread. So therefore, you become the centerpiece of that energy that's irradiating off. So now you become a life form energy that gives off this energy to supply the connection for other beings. So therefore, you have simultaneously found a way within yourself to manifest unconditional love. That's serving people. That's actually serving people. It's not just serving you and your people, but it's serving lesser value DNA that is not really aware of what's taking place, but they feel it. But they feel it. And see, ultimately, this is where it was at one point in the world. It was a feeling. Even the lower level DNAs felt this great connection to things, even if it wasn't comprehended in full. So then if I leave the universal situation that's taking place to be described by DNA that doesn't understand capabilities incorrect, I'm only going to comprehend it the way they explain it. Especially if my comprehension is supposed to be on a higher level. It's simple confusion. I never know that because I'm not on that level. I would have to revert back in order to learn this. See, that's the science. It's trying to make your DNA close up by teaching you from a primitive aspect of the original knowledge. That'll never happen. And this is going to go over a lot of people's heads. This shit might not even touch people. It may not. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they need to get it, they'll get it. Share, like, subscribe. You already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? It's NAGA. But, yeah, information always in the description. But, yeah, just vibe with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the issue. We keep wanting to point fingers at this, and the third. No, you got people who are not even on the genetic standpoint to comprehend something, to explain it to you in a certain way. The genetic capability is not even there. That's like, I can vibe with my kid, but until my kid becomes an adult, that gaga Google shit is what he understand. I can feel him. He need to pee. He need to, shit. He got to eat. I can feel that. But what he's saying, gaga Google, what the fuck that is? That's his shit. I gotta try to figure it out. I don't know what that is. And then what he gonna do? He gonna grow into his capability, or his DNA unlocks more to where now he can start comprehending how to be in a circumference with everything of his same caliber. So I watch his DNA open and I watch him grow. And then he can start talking to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, this shit ain't rocket science. It's simple, but for the most part, you got the world that's based off confusion that don't want you to know these things. And because you don't know these things, you know what you do? You go off on a tangent in your life and you miss out on how things should be. You miss out on the capabilities of what it was supposed to be. Because they got to throw control in it. If you're incomplete as far as your DNA being unlocked to be in a system of things, so then that means when you do start moving around and growing in some aspect, you're going to be making decisions off incomplete basis. That's the problem with the world. That's the problem with the government. That's the problem with everything going on. A bunch of incomplete motherfuckers trying to tell me, oh, we're going to do X, Y, Z. I don't have to work out no problem. I don't need no paperwork. You don't know what you're talking about. Period. I don't got to be like, oh, we need to sign this and make this happen. No, your ass is incomplete. Otherwise, you would have an irradiate energy coming off of you at your highest aspect of all your DNA being unlocked. And that energy will become a feeling as if it's the fucking sun. It will supply energy for everything, and some things will get burned by it because they're not ready to be up under it. This is facts. This is facts. If you are meant to be a ray of light and yet to be complete, so therefore you can grow towards that, then every other ray of light will be very damaging to you because you're not complete. This is why a lot of people don't get the knowledge. This is why most of the conscious community is all in boggles. This is why, for the most part, you have different aspects of nothingness everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like the simultaneous combustion of simplicity of empty experiences holds no weight. But we would rather be in depth and immersed in a bunch of nothing just to hold an ego. When in fact, we blame the ego. Yo, that's the ego, yo. No, you're incomplete. That's what it is. You're incomplete. You don't understand. You're incomplete. You find ways to unlock that DNA. And you know this clearly because they even tell you, you know why you growing in your physical. Your frontal lobe doesn't even hit maturity as full growth into a certain age. So you make dumb decisions most of your life anyway. And you know that as soon as I hit this age, I start to understand a lot of shit different. Ain't now none of you niggas out here been sitting there talking about you had a level of maturity your whole entire life. You might have knew some shit at your height. That's some of us. Because I always was tapped into something, but I still was a kid. I still was a teenager. I still was a young adult. I still went through those levels. So we're not going to talk about what we think we know how the DNA work. Nah, you didn't know. You could not comprehend till you was a certain age. So even using what happens at a certain time in your life, it's kind of like pointless. Like saying, oh, that's what you did. Nigga, you ain't know what you was doing because if you had a different mind at that time, you'd be like, I wouldn't have been doing all that shit. That's the first thing everybody say later. They be like, yo, if I knew what I know now, then come on, man. Look. I ain't gonna talk you out of death. I'm just talking to you. You already know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go deeper and I want to build some more because it's just rolling off me. You know what I'm saying? But look, stay focused, stay aware, and love yourself. Become the light. Become the energy that's needed to be used, become that energy that people can grow off. You know what I'm saying? Teach somebody how to be that light. You know what I'm saying? You already know the vibes. Learn from yourself. Teach yourself so you can teach everybody else. One, NAGA.